So what do we have this morning? NVIDIA. I mean, oh my goodness, NVIDIA. I don't even know what to say about it. We didn't really have much to say about it yesterday in the Spaces talk that Craig and I did, by the way, which was 4:30 to 5:30, a macro to micro power hour using Twitter, kind of a new thing. We wanted to try it. It was waiting until NVIDIA was done their earnings announcement at 4:20. And it was obviously pretty darn bullish interpretation based on their growth. I mean, they've doubled, but and we of course have a $1 trillion market cap, 1.2 or something. Anyway, it was a very, very, very big beat. There is a little suspicious mind of mine. I can't help it. I just went and looked for information on, you know, really how great this was. And I saw lots of fabulous, fabulous bullish tapes. I mean, oh my God, it was just like Zoom back at the height of COVID. It really reminded me of that. The euphoria about how Zoom was going to be the anyway, I know it's very different, but the point is it was short-lived because we went back to work and Zoom had lots of competitors. But the point is this was very, very, very robust, and I'm not going to take it away. But I can't help if there are possibly any forensic accounting or fundamental reviewers in the audience. Take a look. CoreWeave takes out a massive loan 3 weeks ago to the day, greater than its market cap. No kidding. It's got a $2 billion market cap, and it took out a $2.3 billion loan to buy NVIDIA, these very coveted H100 chips, using the same collateral for the loan, meaning the chips. And so all these private equity players that are involved in this deal obviously think that $4,000 is just not enough for these chips, that they could sell them for more. That's my baseline bet. Or that they're going to leverage this in some fashion and, you know, be positioned better than anybody else in the space. Anyway, regardless, it was a fascinating, bearish look. And there aren't very many of those out there. So it's just something to be considered. Right? It's collateralized by the same chips. This is the latest and greatest, right? Private equity, asset-based financing at its finest. Anyway, it was very, very interesting. So there's some data in here that looks, let's just say, curious, because that $2.3 billion loan that it took out to buy the NVIDIA H100 chips equaled exactly NVIDIA's data center beat. So, you know, how to lie with statistics, I don't know. I'm not a forensic accountant, but it was the one bearish bent of size of what do you want to call it? Of substance. And I'm sure they can explain it away, but he had some really great, like, look at this. This is fabulous. Like, this was the CoreWeave, what they did. And, you know, anyway, the point is, I'm really, really curious if this is going to be a consideration in the bull's mind. Otherwise, Druckenmiller, you know, he's made his gazillions off this, and I haven't seen any sizable selling. But I will say, this is 1618. Okay, when we got up to this 127, I said 412. This is where it should start to digest, and we'll see if we get a reversal pattern. We did not. This is digestion. That's all it is. Tag your it, came back in, broke above, inside, tag. I mean, we're talking 6 weeks. Then it broke out higher, then it pulled back, but immediately got saved, right? Into literally perfectly when they came out with the 13F releases, and Soros and Druckenmiller and so many others were long NVIDIA. It pulled back very sharply to the 55 in a short duration, then popped up like a daisy into NVIDIA earnings, got resistance because they got a little cold feet, and then here it sat. So technically this thing delivered really nicely from a standpoint of Friday morning. I said the Qs are on 355. We should push into, come on, data. Okay, we're on 355. Perfect. 3-week pullback. Q should push into the 21-day. And we did that yesterday. We even overshot it right to the 270, which is exactly what, like I said, we're going to go to 270. And I don't know with NVIDIA. I have no edge with earnings. It's my mantra. I really don't. So we obviously took it out. We obviously traded up here to 273.34. This is pre-market, right? So here's that trend line. I wouldn't be surprised if we make it all the way up to 276. Maybe the bulls don't care about the CoreWeave situation. It's all very bullish for them. It helps NVIDIA. So there's the cues. Let's see how we open, obviously. But we're right into this kind of intraday resistance, 273.34. Obviously, we get and stay above that. We're moving higher. Will there be, by the way, even though NVIDIA moved its expected move 10 to 11%, I forgot exactly, it's only up 7% right now. So this will be the test for the market's resolve this week, into Jackson Hole Powell's speech tomorrow in bond land. And this is definitely rejection. Look at that. Perfect. I mean, this is exciting for me. So here we have 1618. Now, you know what happened after hours. You can't see it on the weekly or the daily, but you can see it here. We tagged 519.55. So that's obviously the bar to beat. That has to get taken out. However, we are opening up at 502 and dropping. Now, we got a whole bunch of gap fill down here, and I'm not saying we're going to go right to it because, again, even though I might have found a bearish take underneath the surface, doesn't mean that they're not absolutely going to make money off that $3.2 billion loan, reselling chips or leveraging somehow. I've got no idea in their business plan. I'm just saying it was a little sus. Okay. So anyway, here we are. We're at pivot intraday, 491, right on the 7 and 17. That's now it, right? We really, really have this if you're doing the whole NVIDIA thing. Instead of 10% move, obviously volatility, sellers, option sellers in the straddle made money, clearly. So expected move 10%. We only got 5%. Here's the level I would say you short that 481. More conviction if it bounces a little bit and then breaks. But we really don't have too much other than that pivot of 491, right? Tag your it. That's on a daily. Tag your it. That's on a weekly. And that's a beautiful place for a tag. That's all I can say about that. Really, really, really nice. All right. So NVIDIA is soggy. Perfect. Beautiful. Here's your 373 tag your it, and it's coming back down to the 717. This is more likely to happen, which is this kind of pivot around 370, right? So if you are staying long this Q business, let me just, 2 words, okay? Depends on your time frame. My thing is, this is resistance. Keltner channel, this 371.83, we a little above it, but it comes back in. It's very shy. So on a short duration, you know that's resistance, right? We literally, after hours, we're coming back in. We can come back down to that 370 pretty easily. Then we can fill that gap just like we did here, right? We filled it and we moved higher. We're moving higher, obviously on NVIDIA, but we can come right back down to 368.63. So this is not done. This, depending on your time frame I'm talking about, this can come right back down to 368 and then move higher. It would need to break 368 for me to be bearish again. Does that make sense? Like, this is resistance. I get that. Absolutely beautiful gap fade. I get that. But for this to really, really fail, it's got to get back below 368. So it all depends on your time frame. Qs overshot the 21-day and have come back down perfectly. I love this trade, right? So far, mechanically, intraday, this has been exquisite, but it's still bullish on a swing basis. Just keep that in mind. We're above 368.63. We need to break that. We need to come back down below it. NVIDIA is just having a minuscule little break, bounce here on that 480. Look at that, gorgeous. These are just technically really, really strong intraday, but we need a solid breakdown below the 21-day to be really bearish. And what I think we're going to do is probably overshoot now to this 367, let's say the 3-day. Hold on. 367 is the 3-day. So if you're pressing this Q short from today, I think you got 367, and we're going to end up like a NVIDIA. Remember what happened with NVIDIA? This candle right here. Remember how we overshot? We hit 480, then came right back into the 3-day. And then the next day we had an inside. And obviously we had an event. But the Qs look like it wants to do that. Overshot really right into this 372.57. Coming back down. I gave you 368.63 today. I think we're actually going to overshoot it. We're going to hit 367. And then I would say take care. Make sense? We're right exactly where I thought we would head. First, 370. Second, 368.63. And third, 3-day. We're not quite there. Only here intraday. Let's push that down a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? 366.49. Yep. That's impressive. We broke it, but not completely. You get more evidence that this was a fake breakout fast failure. All we've done so far is perfectly fade the 373.34 after hours and pre-market high. We came back in at 272 on the intraday to 27. What's wrong with me? 372 to 370, 370 to 367, 366, I think, is where this starts to digest. Why? It's perfectly on the 3-day. Perfectly. Now we need to close below this, like this week. If we can close below it this week, we've got a much higher probability of a rollover. Like a lot. But I need this week. And I am going to be on the record here saying 370 is going to get tagged. If not today, as I mentioned earlier, at some point, right? Tomorrow, most likely. But I'm really excited that we did not have a stupid market, meaning getting NVIDIA at 500 and running it back up same day, just running with it. We actually had a pause at that fib level. That's reasonable to me. That's actually reasonable to me. NVIDIA hasn't broken down into that 470 yet, but I absolutely have that as price target. Q's already overshot, but we have to close really firmly below. So this is gorgeous, but I mean, we really, really have to close firmly below. Nice day. Nice day. All right.